Hello, friends, and welcome to class 6 of Native Food for Life online. We have a lot of really good information to share today, and so I'll begin by talking about last week's challenge. We had 2 challenges. We asked you to drink more water. Let's begin with that. How'd you do? Anybody have any trouble? Did you replace any unhealthy drinks with water? You can add it to the chat, what you did, if you had any challenges, if you had any success. So we just wanted to remember to drink water because every species on the planet drinks water and when they're thirsty. And the water helps us move all that fiber that we're going to be eating. It moves it through our bodies. And it's a good habit to have a full glass of water every morning upon waking. And our second challenge was to take vitamin B12. Oh, cool. In the chat, the challenges definitely make you more mindful of drinking water. You know, normally you're like, "Yep, I drink my water. I've got it all the time." But when you're actually challenged to drink an adequate amount, like, I was thinking, I don't drink that full gallon sometimes. Sometimes it's sitting on my desk and I don't get it in. But during challenge week, I will drink that last water that's sitting on my desk. So thank you for challenge week. And that second challenge was to take the more B12. And so sometimes I forget to take that B12, but during challenge week, I really remember to take that every morning. And you can take it on an empty stomach. B12 is a water soluble, so you can take it first thing in the morning when you drink that water, and it is absorbed more easily when you take it on an empty stomach than if you have with food. And so if it says, food soluble, that's when those vitamins that you want to take with food, and it's more absorbed when you eat food. And if you use the GTB clinic, they do have B12 out here. It's a little 125 microgram. You can take a couple of those a day and they fit you right into the levels, and or recommended by your physician. They may recommend that you take a different amount than this 500 micrograms 2 to 3 times a week is what this class recommends. Okay. And next announcement, happy graduation. You guys did it. We made it to class 6. If you're watching this and you're not watching during the live classes and you made it to class 6 and you need your graduation certificate, email me at darylynberryman.gtb-nsn.gov. Contact me at the clinic and we'll get your graduation certificate. But everyone else that did register, you'll get a survey tonight after the class, and it'll be the last survey of the week. It's just a 5-minute survey, but at the end, it'll have your how to get your graduation certificate to you. Okay. And then the handouts actually have a little place for notes. If you had printed them out and you're using a pen, you want to, take notes. There is a little section in the handouts for notes. So these are good carry along as a physical reminder. If you want to set them on the fridge or put it where a place where you're going to see and be mindful of it, you can use these handouts to keep these challenges going every week. You can just start over at week 1 and challenge yourself to eat more breakfast. Oh, and so that was a question we had last week. There's a question in the chat commenting on when they did check their multivitamin, there was only 8 micrograms of B12 in the multivitamin. So you are going to want to supplement with a full B12. And the vegetables used to have B12 in there. The dirt was full of B12 and it would be naturally occurring in most vegetables. And that has since been depleted from the soil and we no longer get B12 from the ground. Even the animals, they have to supplement animals with B12. And so when people eat animals and they don't have to take B12, it's because the animal already took the B12 supplement. So we're just taking out the middle meat and taking the supplement ourselves. So that is a little history on how B12 now has to be taken as a supplement. All right. You will receive an email tonight after the class. It's going to have a link in there for the last survey, how to get your graduation certificate, how to stay in contact with me, and some links to my social medias. And then also there's a movie coming out. It's called The Seeds Our Ancestors Planted. And if you remember the kids from the Kinlani Bordertown dormitory when they had the food challenge making meals for $5, there's 2 of those same folks that are actually went on to be movie makers, and now they have produced a 1-hour movie, and so look for that in the link tonight when you get your graduation link right after the class. And so we do have a lot of information to fit in tonight. I'll go ahead and turn it over to our registered dietitian, nutritionist, Whitney Brooks of the Seneca Nation, and she's going to introduce us today's lesson about putting it all together. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat box. Oh yeah. At the end, she asked 2 questions. So put the answer in the chat box. All right, here she comes.
Welcome to Lesson 6 of Native Food for Life. Today is our last class of the 6-part series. Congratulations to you. This is your graduation class. Welcome back. Today we will consider ideas on how to handle some common challenging situations, watch a virtual potluck where you'll see 2 kinds of tacos, an easy pressure cooker soup, and black bean brownies. We'll also test your knowledge of plant-based nutrition and award graduation certificates. So how did you do on the challenge of the week? This week, there were 2 challenges offered. The first was to drink water. Most people don't drink enough, so however much you actually usually drink, I wanted you to drink more. Did you create a new habit, such as a full glass of water at every meal or carrying a water bottle with you when you go out? If you did, good for you. And if not, let me encourage you to just start now. The second challenge was to take vitamin B12. Did you shop for a B12 supplement that you can take every day? If not, please do it soon. Remember, this is the vitamin that protects your memory, protects your nerves, and prevents anemia, which means too few oxygen-carrying red blood cells. Make sure you take a low dose every day or a higher dose once or twice a week. For more information, please see your program booklet. Let's talk about some challenging situations that we all face. The first is eating at work or school. We are currently in the midst of a pandemic. Maybe the usual place where you buy lunch is closed, or maybe you and your kids are at home because schools are closed. My hope is that by the time you are watching this, schools, restaurants, and workplace cafeterias are open again. And if that's the case, how can you eat healthy plant-based meals outside of your home? When you think about eating at work or school, it is really important to plan ahead. Let's consider these questions. What foods could you keep in a desk drawer? What foods could you bring to work, brown bag style? What foods could you have with you for a long drive? Do you have some ideas? Here are some that have worked for me. For desk drawer and take to the car options, raisins or homemade trail mix with nuts, seeds, and dried fruit worked really well. Apples hold up well too. For a packed lunch idea, leftovers will work, or peanut butter and banana or peanut butter and jelly on 100% whole wheat or multigrain bread, or even tortillas can work. You can keep hummus with lettuce and tomato in a cooler. A can opener, a can of chickpeas drained, salt and pepper, and red pepper or cucumber can make a quick lunch bowl meal. For a desk drawer option, anything I'd take in the car will work. Also, if you have a microwave at work, instant soup or a can of vegetarian black beans and a potato served together make a hot, hearty meal. Here are a few more easy to pack snacks. Bananas and pears, dried fruit, nuts. Just keep an eye out for the pre-mixed trail mix, which often has a lot of oil. You can also have oranges, mandarin oranges, tangerines, or clementines, red pepper and cucumber, pita bread with hummus, applesauce cups, cut up carrots and celery, bean dip with vegetables or rice cakes, Luna bars, Cliff bars, Make sure you get the vegan one so that you're avoiding dairy. And any other dairy-free granola bars will work. You can also have instant soup cups or instant oatmeal cups. The key here is to plan ahead. Remember, the body you live in is worth the extra effort. Don't let yourself get hangry. You know, that's when somebody is hungry and angry. If you work where there is a cafeteria, what health-promoting foods could you find there? What items could you ask a cafeteria manager to make available? Here's an example of a workplace that makes it easy. The Sahotso Medical Center in Fort Defiance, Arizona, on the Navajo Nation, now offers a plant-based breakfast and lunch every day in the cafeteria. A small group of people worked hard to make this change possible. We want to recognize Mrs. April James, the manager of Nutritive Services, and Chef Leonard Sanders, two of the people at this hospital who worked to make this possible and keep it going. This little hospital serves 1,000 meals a day and was one of the first hospitals in the U.S. to offer a daily plant-based meal. Here's a short video of Chef Walter Whitewater at the hospital, where he was invited to help expand the menu to include plant-based meals. If you ever go to Fort Defiance, Arizona, stop in and consider asking at your workplace what could be done to accommodate people who want to eat plant-based meals.
I was called on to be here, and I was happy that, out of the blues, it just happened. This is something that I always wanted to do. In the Navajo way, they always tell us, whenever you finish your school, whatever it is, that professional that you do, bring back something back to your people. So that's an honor to do, give something back to what I learned in the professional world.
So there's a problem across the country where people come to hospitals to get healthy, and the food that they're served doesn't support their health. We see people getting bacon and eggs after heart surgery. Here at Sahotso, the food service department has learned about plant-based eating and how that helps people heal. And the foods are foods that are familiar. Corn, beans, and squash, the three sisters.
Pinon, Arizona, that's where I'm from. Yate, my name's Walter Whitewater. Helping the people. I'm helping here to create a new dish for the hospital, for a healing way for the people those are in need. That I wanted to create something good for them.
My name is Dr. Carolyn Trapp. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm the Director of Diabetes Education and Care with the Physicians Committee. And we're here now with Chef Walter Whitewater, who has traveled internationally, feeding people, cooking for people, teaching chef students and others how to cook these healthy meals. And now he's here working with food service to introduce some new recipes that are plant-based, and they're delicious, and they will help people get healthy and stay healthy.
Well, what I'm here for, I was asked to come here and to help taste the food, and I was saying that I wish it was like that for all the hospital, and that we need something like this, that we create a new dish, a new way of looking at a healthier way, getting away from certain things that was not right for our body, and somehow a lot of our people are sick. So my area is to give back and make it healthier and to create a good medicine for the Navajo Nation.
Dining out healthfully. Now let's learn how to order great food that's also healthy while eating at a restaurant. Choosing a restaurant. Think international. The meals at these restaurants often center on plants or make it easy to build a plant-based meal over American-style restaurants. Think Italian, Chinese, Mexican, or Japanese. For Italian cuisine, you can have a garden salad, minestrone or lentil soup, No cheese pizza with veggies. This is one of my favorites. Spaghetti marinara or pasta primavera. You can also have a pesto dish, but ask if the pesto is cheese free. For Chinese cuisine, ask for steamed vegetable dumplings. You can ask for rice, brown rice if they have it available, or noodles. Vegetable and tofu main dishes. You can ask for steamed tofu. You can ask for vegetable and cashew dishes. And to avoid all the extra oil, you can ask for steamed rice, steamed vegetables, and steamed tofu, and a side of brown sauce, garlic sauce, or white sauce, whatever you like to create a really tasty and healthy dish. For Mexican restaurants, you can order bean burritos, just hold the cheese, spinach enchiladas, also hold the cheese, veggie fajitas, Spanish rice and beans, refried beans that are not cooked in lard, and also one of my favorite tips to order is a side of steamed corn tortillas and eat those instead of greasy chips with salsa. For Japanese cuisine, you can ask for edamame or soybeans served in the pod. Just don't eat the pod, but the beans inside are delicious. Look for these in your freezer section of your grocery store too. You can steam these at home. They are a great snack for kids and adults. You may also be able to ask for vegetable sushi that includes cucumber, radish, carrot, and rice wrapped in seaweed. Think of the healthy, long-living people of Okinawa. You can also ask for salads. They have generally green salads or seaweed salads available. And you can also ask if they have miso soup. How about Native American cuisine? Currently, we do need restaurants that offer health-promoting plant-based Native American cuisine. Foods that sustained our native ancestors. What dishes could you see on the menu? This might be a great business opportunity and a wonderful community service. At a pizza restaurant, you can ask for vegetable toppings such as mushrooms, onions, peppers, and spinach. You can also ask them for extra sauce. And don't forget to ask to hold the cheese. Or you can ask for a light amount of vegan cheese if they have it available. Vegan cheeses can be full of fat, so a little bit goes a long way. At a family-style restaurant, if you don't see anything on the menu, ask what they can make for you. Often you can put together items on the menu to make the dish that you want, if you ask nicely. They might be able to whip up some oatmeal and bananas or berries, a regular spaghetti with tomato sauce. You might be able to get a veggie burger. They might be able to make you a steamed or roasted vegetable plate. Or you might be able to have a baked potato with salsa. So what can we eat at a steakhouse? Well, yes, even restaurants that specialize in meat can work. At a steakhouse, veggie and side plates can be a great option. You can get garden salad, vegetable side plate, and combine them together. You can get baked potato or a baked sweet potato. You may also ask for steamed asparagus or sauteed spinach if they have it available. Fast food options. Here are 2 ideas. When you're in a pinch, you can always check out a Subway and get a Veggie Delight sub with no oil or no mayo. Mustard works as a great fat-free topping. There's also Taco Bell, where you can get yourself a nice bean burrito. They do have black beans. Here's a nice little Taco Bell hack. Ask them to make it fresco. So make any of these options vegan by ordering them fresco style. So you can get a 7-layer burrito, a bean burrito, black bean burrito, power menu veggie burrito or bowl, and you can order tacos, but request beans instead of beef or chicken. More fast food choices. Quick Google searches can often offer more suggestions in some restaurants, like Noodle and Company, and help you identify their vegan options on their websites. Many fast food burger places offer a vegan burger, and these can be very greasy, so it's not a good everyday choice, but fine to try as an occasional experiment. Chipotle offers a salad or burrito bowl with rice, veggies, and beans. This is one of my favorite options because I often ask for both beans. At a sandwich or sub shop, you can get a veggie or Mediterranean sub, hold the cheese and mayo. At Wendy's, you can get an apple pecan or strawberry mango salad, hold the chicken and cheese. You can also get a baked potato with ketchup. At Panera, there's several options, including the quinoa salad, the modern Greek salad without the feta, seasonal green salad. They have garden vegetable soup, just hold the pesto. They have black bean soup, and also oatmeal and pecans. At Noodles and Company, you can get Japanese pan noodles, penne rosa without cream and cheese, whole grain Tuscan fresca without cheese, spaghetti with marinara, and more. At Starbucks, you can ask for a fruit cup, classic or blueberry oatmeal, or you can make your lattes with soy or almond milk. They have both available. Online restaurant guides. No matter where you go, it's easy to find a restaurant with good options thanks to your phone. Yelp.com, happycow.net, maps.google.com are all great starting places to find new places to eat. Now we will discuss family gatherings, because we are sure that COVID-19 will end and there will be safe family gatherings again before too long. Let's think about family dinners and cookouts, healthy holidays and parties, and how we can prepare ourselves and how to handle those food pushers. Here's our top party tips. 1. Plan ahead. Having a plan will make it easy to stick to the foods that heal your body. Think about which foods will be hard to resist and what can I replace them with? 2. Get your mindset ready. Think short term. I can make it through one holiday without venturing into unhealthy foods. Think of the big picture. Tell yourself, I will take care of my health and the health of others. 3. Improve the menu in a subtle way. You can offer to bring a dish. You can arrive with a food gift. You can even suggest a potluck. You can use Google to find a whole food plant-based casserole for some great recipe ideas. I've seen that the colorful plant-based dishes are the first to get eaten at gatherings. 4. Practice your lines. When you're talking to others, you can say, I'm following a special diet right now. You can also say, I ate so much for lunch, I think I'll wait. But tell yourself, I'm going to feel so good and be so proud of myself. 5. Don't arrive hungry. An apple or other health-promoting snack before you go will help you keep control. Even a large glass of water can help. So, if your host is a little pushy, the truth is, hosts don't actually care if you eat. They just want to be good hosts. Hosts like to fill empty hands. So, hold a plate with a few small items, making the host feel appreciated. If a host really wants you to try something, you can politely decline, but ask them how they made it. You can also talk about how great everything looks and what a nice job they did. Anything to change the subject in a friendly way. Take the focus off of you. You can say, did you make those? How do you do it? Bring in reinforcements. It's much easier to stick to healthy changes if you have support. Ask family members, friends, and coworkers to support your health decisions. If necessary, try flattery. Say, you are so helpful. Here's one area I really need your help. What are your ideas? What are your party tips? Take a minute to think about what you'll do for the next gathering. So, in summary, we want to plan ahead for work and travel. For restaurants, think international. Ask nicely for a meal that works for you. At parties, don't arrive hungry and redirect focus. Next, welcome to our virtual potluck. I have to say that one of the best parts of changing my diet is the new friends I've met along the way. I'm glad for you to meet these 3 people from the Navajo Nation. You've already met Tara Oliver and heard her story. You may remember Jamie and Jensen Yazzie, who are brother and sister and were in the documentary from 2014 that you saw at the first class. Jensen lost 80 pounds and has now kept it off for 8 years. Jamie has 2 healthy plant-based pregnancies and now has 2 beautiful plant-based children. You'll find the recipes from all 4 of us in your program book. One cooking skill we have not discussed too much is how to cook without oil. Fortunately, it is covered here. Welcome to our potluck, pre-recorded just for you. Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good tonight. Thank you for coming to our virtual potluck. I know under the circumstances, I would love to have a real in-person potluck, but this will have to do. But I got to see everybody's pictures and they look amazing. I just wish I could taste some of these things. It would be awesome. So I'll have everybody introduce themselves. We'll start with Jamie.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamie. I'm from the Navajo Nation. I am 29 years old and I've been plant-based for about 8 years.
Nice. What did you make for our virtual potluck tonight?
For the virtual potluck, I made cauliflower tacos. And I made the tacos are basically my go-to when I want something simple but warm and fast.
Okay. Oh yeah, is there anything about making them that was surprising to you or that you found really easy?
I found it is a lot of work.
Oh, okay.
With plant-based cooking, but it's very simple. The recipes are simple. For this recipe, I used 1 cauliflower head. I chopped it into florets. You can leave the stem on. I usually leave the stem on just because it has more.
Nice.
And then I used garlic. I cut up 2 cloves of garlic. Actually 3 cloves. And then I browned the garlic, and then I threw in the cauliflower. I kind of cooked. Can we start over?
I do this all the time when I'm recording.
Oh, sorry. So I cook the cauliflower until it's brown, and then I add the seasoning. But when I add the seasoning and it's starting to get brown, I add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Okay, so once I put the water in, I let it simmer until it evaporates. And then there's your base for your tacos. But while it's cooking, you can dice up your onions, your olives, and then make your guacamole with just the tacos. Some people like the lemon. I just put lemon in there because I had it on hand. And that was my taco. I didn't have to do any extra. It's just basically cauliflower simmered for about 15-20 minutes. But while it's cooking, I also chop up everything. And then I made rice on the side as a filler, but it also just because my son loves rice.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So I noticed that the recipe doesn't have any oil. Do you have any issues with it sticking to the pan or no?
No, that's the reason why I use water, because once it starts getting brown, it will stick. But if you use a little bit of water and then turn your heat down, they should come off right off the pan. And that's the great thing about plant-based cooking is it's easy to clean.
I love that.
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions for Jamie?
I have a question. Have you ever tried using, do you prefer to use like the fresh cauliflower, or have you tried using like frozen just to save time?
I like both. I make several recipes with different types of cauliflower. So like you can do cauliflower wings, or like you can cut them up and kind of make them into like imitation meat, just like little
Yeah.
but this recipe would work with both.
Okay, just curious.
Wow, that's great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I wish I could have some with you. Yeah. So, Tara, you're up next.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Tara Oliver. I am from Window Rock, Arizona, and I'm from the Navajo Nation tribe. I am 35, and I have been plant-based for 1 year and 9 months.
Nice.
Yeah, I started it at work as a work challenge, and then I got my husband to do it with me, and he was like, okay, and then we just kind of never looked back. Yeah, we really, really, really love it. I think one of the hardest things we encountered was trying to replace like cheese. We like really, really love cheese, and we found like different replacements, or maybe like making our own cheese. It took a really long time, and I think one of the most surprising things that we found out is that we really, really loved beans. Before I was plant-based, I was not into beans at all, but after plant-based, we found so many uses for beans. We keep them on hand because we cook with them a lot. Surprisingly though, with this recipe, I didn't add the beans, but you can pretty much add anything in there. So because we went plant-based, we started a garden, and now we have a cornfield. So I think going plant-based was a really, really big change for us, and we really loved it, and we kind of just flourished out of it.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah. Okay, so my recipe is kale and potato soup. So like I said, we have a garden, and this year we decided to grow kale, but I was kind of hesitant to try anything other than kale chips. And so I own an Instant Pot, and I cook everything in that Instant Pot. I have 2 kids under the age of 6, so it has to be like quick and ready to go, throw it in and just walk away. So for this, I used my Instant Pot, and what I did was I chopped up the onions, the garlic, carrots, celery. I probably chopped maybe like a cup of each. Really, it's up to you how much you want to put in there. If you like onions, more onions. If you don't like carrots, hold back. But I'd say about a cup each. I just chop them, and like Jamie does, I put water in the Instant Pot on the saute option. And if you have a regular pan, you can also just saute the veggies in water. Water does really help. It doesn't stick to the pan. You don't get grease. You're not using oil. It does help distribute the seasoning when you pour it in there. So that's where the herbs come in. I had used thyme, oregano, and rosemary. Sometimes if I can't find all of those, I just toss in like Italian seasoning. That also works. I'd say about half a teaspoon of each of them. And the potatoes, so once everything is kind of sauteed, and it smells so yummy, you could probably just eat it right there. But I start peeling potatoes and chopping them into big, maybe like 1-inch sizes. I just throw them in there. And then I use a vegetable broth. The vegetable broth I use is called, oh goodness, it's like a vegetable bouillon, but it doesn't have chicken or anything in it, with water. And I kind of just put it in there to taste, to see what it might come out salty or not. Then I also prepare the kale. So the kale, After I wash it, I strip off the kale pieces, give it a good massage till it turns dark green, and then I just rip it up and then I throw it all in the Instant Pot. So on the Instant Pot, I set it for manual timer for 15 minutes, and then I just let it do a natural release. So if you didn't have an Instant Pot, you could just do it on the stovetop in a big pot, how you're cooking for cooking soup. If you want to get your potatoes boiled on the side while you're chopping everything up, that's fine too. But the trick is after the soup is done, I pour half of the soup into a blender. And then I blend it up and then I pour it back into the soup, and that gives it that like thick creaminess. So you don't have to put in anything like dairy product wise or cornstarch or whatever. It just gives that, I think it's the potatoes that gives it that like creaminess. And then you have your soup. And it's very open for you to add whatever you want. Like, since it's fall, I'm sure people have like tons of squash, zucchini, corn, all that. And then, like I said, you can add beans. You can probably add white beans to keep the color. Pretty much any beans, really. So that is my recipe.
Wow, that sounds really amazing. And by the recipe, it seems like it's not a fussy one where you can just throw it all in there, right?
Yeah, like I said, I have very little time with the kids, so I like to get recipes where I can just throw it in the Instant Pot and walk away and then come back and dinner's ready.
Oh, that sounds great. Does anybody have any questions for Tara?
No.
No, we good? Oh, thanks so much for sharing that with us, Tara. I wish I could have it starting to turn fall here. So
I know, that's
it's perfect season for soup.
I know.
Yes. Exciting. Soup is my full.
All right, so next up, Jensen.
So my dish, hello,
Hi.
good evening. Yate, my name is Jensen. I'm from Winter Rock, Arizona. I'm 31 years old. I've been plant-based 10 years and 9 months. Yeah, eat good, feel good, pretty much is it. I can get more creative with my food. I like to cook. So I don't like to cook for just myself. I like to cook for like my family and stuff. So what I did was I cooked portobello mushrooms, and I kind of got creative and made them into tacos because we had these big portobello mushrooms, and I was like, what can you make with them, So I was like, let's try tacos. So we had taco shells, and not taco shells, we had taco tortillas. So I kind of just got the idea of like, let's just put them on the tacos and we'll eat from it. Then that's kind of how it morphed into that. So I kind of just came up with the recipe on my own and ran with it. But what I did was I grabbed and it's funny too because I'm real meticulous about cutting things, and I just like to cut, so I'm not like necessarily a chef or anything, but I'll get a knife and I'll cut all my ingredients up first. So I'll cut all my mushrooms up, all my onions up, all my cilantro, all my tomatoes, and so I start the rice, I cook the rice, I heat it up, I let it boil, and then when I'm done letting that boil and it's done, then I usually try to add a tomato in and then mix that up. Then I grab a can of beans and I add the beans in, drain the beans, I add the can of beans in, and then I let that set. Then that sauteing and cooking on low. Meanwhile, while I go ahead and heat up the portobello mushrooms, they're sauteing, and then, just let that cook. From then on, I'm still cutting everything up for my salsa because I like salsa. So I pretty much cut up 5 tomatoes, 1 whole onion, 4 cloves of garlic, but it's your choice of garlic potency because I really like garlic and I like to have garlic breath. And then 1 bundle of cilantro. Usually the cilantro I try to save for my, for the top of my tacos. I like to be spicy, so I use 5 or 6 jalapenos and 2 habanero chilies. I know it's kind of really hot, but Then I mix all my salsa together. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about my salsa. I put a lime and a lemon in it too to just. And if you want, you can add salt, but I really try not to add salt into it because you know you really want to taste the things. So once that's over, then I get the the tortillas. I'm so sorry, and you heat them up over the stove. And then once you're done, you put the mushrooms on your so-called meat or your protein. And then from then I add on olives, onions, and my tomatoes that I diced up. And then I add cilantro. And then I even added salsa on top of my tacos. And then I added salsa on top of my beans and my rice. So I pretty much add salsa to everything.
Looks
But
amazing.
yeah, it was really good. And I know I've been like, sometimes it's like, it's time consuming to cut up, but once you cut everything up and you have it together and you understand how meticulous you can be with cutting your own food, then it gets really delicious and you start craving fresh foods. And they're not like the salsa is not cooked. It's still pretty much like fresh, like raw fresh. And you get to experience all the rich flavors and the richness to it and the freshness. And then you start craving it and you're like, well, I want some more salsa. And then, you know, you start adding salsa to different things and you start understanding like your palate, I guess you could say.
Wow, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Does anybody have any questions for Jensen?
I have to say that cutting veggies is probably one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, it is pretty fun. I'm with you on that.
It's like therapeutic almost.
Yeah, and then you
I
start
agree.
getting smaller
Yeah.
and smaller, and you're like, how can I cut this different? Like your onions, because you know how the onions grow in like different layers in the circular motion. So then you start learning how to cut things differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I
Maybe we
agree.
have something in common.
It's like a meditation when you get in the kitchen. Call it getting in the zone, and I just start prepping and
Yeah.
you start getting into the flow. And yeah, I like it. So so okay, thank you so much, Jensen, for preparing that and sharing that with us. It looks great. Again, I wish I could have some. Yep. So I made a dessert just so everybody knows who I am, who's watching the virtual potluck. My name is Whitney Brooks. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist from the Seneca Nation. It's located in what is now called Western New York. I'm up by Lake Erie there. But I'm really lucky because up in the Northeast, we have access. We have a really good grocery chain. It's called. This is not a paid advertisement or anything, but we have a really great grocery store called Wegmans, and they have amazing store brand stuff. So I use 2 cans of black beans, and the cans only cost 80 cents a piece.
Wow.
So it just added to my love of black beans in general. So yeah, these turned out really great. So with this recipe, this is a very whole food plant-based recipe with the, so there's no added sugar. But the sweetness comes from the 1 cup of pitted dates, which those are also very nutritious also. So it just adds to the nutrient profile. So although these look very decadent and just, you know, very dessert-like, you're still getting a lot of good nutrition in there, which I really love. So you don't have to feel guilty about it at all. And they're very filling. So these ones are really, I like this recipe a lot because the raspberry jam, like I find raspberries go really, really well with chocolate, especially the dark chocolate. I use dark chocolate chips and they don't have any dairy, they're non-dairy. So all that's in there is the cocoa butter and whatever. Like it's a really simple chocolate chip, and Wegmans has a store brand, which is amazing. But when you're at whatever grocery store you're at, you can check the label and just make sure that there's no milk additives, no milk fat, because we really don't need that. So we can get all the good stuff from the chocolate, the cocoa, without the downside of the animal fats. So this one is really good. I noticed because with the whole wheat pastry flour, I actually didn't get the pastry flour in particular, but I just use whole wheat flour, and it's just as good. So that's just added as more like, it's like a binder to make it more like a brownie, because otherwise it's just like blended up black beans. So it kind of helps it set a little bit. But there's a whole cup of cocoa powder in this. So when it's baking, you can smell it throughout the whole house, and it really builds the anticipation on there. And I did have like the flake sea salt. I just made it a little fancy, and I sprinkled just a little on the top just as a flavor, but nothing major. You don't have to do that. So I did for the topping, before you put the brown, or after you pour the batter into the pan, I just spooned on a little bit of the remaining raspberry jam, and I kind of swirled it around a little on the top, so it makes this nice kind of streak of raspberry. It's almost like a frosting after it bakes, but it's like raspberry jam. So yeah, it's really delicious, and I love it because it's with the black beans. You're also getting a ton of protein and fiber in these, so you will get full off of this. So anybody have any questions? I wish I could share this with everyone.
Can you send me some?
Oh yeah. I have to express or overnight it to you. No.
No, I mean, like, just knowing you and getting to know you, you always talk about food, and man, I've got an appetite for these because you said you get full off of them. So
Oh yeah, yeah. So I honestly, like, this could be a really good like post-workout snack. Just putting it out there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What can you use besides dates? Because where we're at, it's kind of hard to come across dates. I think I've only came across dates maybe like 2 or 3 times. And then if not, to get them like Albuquerque or Farmington.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, for sure. So the pitted dates, that can be subbed out. If you want to add some, you can add some maple syrup. So it's a natural plant-based sweetener. It's also, I mean, it can be a little pricey.
Yeah.
But you can add just a half cup of that, and then add maybe a couple tablespoons of the flour just to make up for the extra liquid.
Okay.
Because if you're making any substitutions, just make sure to accommodate for the extra liquid that's put in there if you're using syrup. But nothing wrong with it. I mean, if you want to add a little bit of brown sugar, and there's these black bean brownies are kind of having a moment. I looked up online. There's a whole bunch of recipes available. You can make them gluten-free. There's like no flour versions. There's a lot of really good options too. So if this recipe, I know with the pitted dates, just check online, and there's some options out there.
And then can I say something?
Yeah, yeah.
So I love the plant-based lifestyle because you can always substitute or make accommodations and how you please. There's no like set rule on how things have to be or how it should look. There's always different ways to make something work.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I'm still surprised by the flexibility that there is, and there's so many options nowadays. Like, I feel like there's never been a better time.
Yes, I agree.
To have this lifestyle. I love going to and seeing all the different like plant milks available, and cashew milk or whatever. There's more than just soy.
Yeah, and now there's oat milk.
It's amazing. But yeah. Well, does anybody have anything they'd like to say? All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. But thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being on this Zoom call. It was great. I look forward to when we could all do this together one day in person.
Yeah.
So, Tara, I'd love to see your garden one day. That would be awesome.
Good job, Tara.
Yeah, nice job. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Jamie, Jensen, Tara, it was awesome. And,
Good job, guys.
Yep. Keep up the great work on all this wonderful cooking. And now, our final exam. Can you answer these frequently asked questions about plant-based eating? First one. Where do you get protein on a plant-based diet? The answer? The real question is, where don't you get protein on a plant-based diet? All plant foods have protein. Plant foods that are the highest in protein are beans, grains, and cooked leafy green vegetables. Question 2. Which of these can lead to insulin resistance, which can lead to type 2 diabetes? A. Sugar, or B. Meat? That was actually a trick question. The answer is, it's both. Sugar can lead to obesity, which can cause insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Meat can also cause insulin resistance. There are studies that show red meat, which includes beef, pork, and mutton, and processed meats like hot dogs, bacon, sausages, and meat in cans are definitely linked to increased risk of diabetes, and also studies that show that those who eat little to no meat have the lowest rates of getting diabetes, and also they have success at putting it into remission. Question 3. Quick, what are the 4 food groups on the native power plate? The answer? The 4 food groups are beans, whole grains, vegetables, and fruit. Bonus if you remembered that there is water circling the plate. These are all the foods and the drinks that build health. Question 4. What's an important kitchen tool to make plant-based cooking easy and fun? Answer? A sharp knife will help you cut up raw vegetables quickly and safely. A dull knife can be dangerous. Question 5. Do you need to take vitamin B12? Answer? Yes. Everyone on a plant-based diet needs a B12 supplement. So does everyone over age 50 or taking certain medications like metformin or acid blockers for heartburn. You can get it in a B12 supplement on its own or as part of a multivitamin. See your program booklet for more information. Now, let's discuss. What was the most surprising thing you learned in this course? And next, how have you changed your eating since starting these classes? Congratulations! You completed the course! If you are taking this course with a moderator, they will have your certificate for you. If you are taking this course for professional development, your course manual will have directions on how to complete a survey and receive your certificate. Keep checking back at nativepowerplate.org. New resources are posted all the time. For any questions, you can email me or Carolyn Trepp. The email is listed below. Thanks so much for joining us.
Okay. Gonna give everyone just another minute to answer the question that Whitney asked in the chat box. What was the most surprising thing you learned today or in the last 6 weeks? And then, how have you changed your eating since starting these classes? And then I'm also curious, has anyone had any success they'd like to get applause for? It could be a change in behavior or a measure like weight loss or lower blood sugar. Please go ahead and put it in the chat. It's okay to be proud of these changes. All right, folks added B12 and more beans and potatoes to their diet. And you can't go wrong with beans and potatoes because that's on, well, you know, two of the magic 8 foods. So way to go there. If you're gonna do something, get those magic 8 foods in there. All right, we covered a lot today and ideas about eating out and social events. And we do have a final survey that we're going to, you know, since our last class, we don't have a formal challenge. So in the last email, there's support in there moving forward. But, you know, you could also, you know, put a goal in your phone with a reminder or write it down and put it in a place you'll find it in a week, or check out the long list of websites and books shared last week. You can find those and let the exploration begin and to consider what you can do to support yourself. You can find a buddy from this course or plan a plant-based movie night like Thursday night. We'll have that viewing from 8 to 9 o'clock of Seeds Our Ancestors Planted. And or read a book from the provided list last week, because you've got this. You can keep it going. And I want to remind you all that we'll be receiving an email tonight shortly after this. I already have it typed up. I'm just going to resend it to y'all now that it's over, on how to get your graduation certificate, and confirming that we'll see you next week at the Oriana West. That's where, you know, the Lucky's used to be. And they have a community room. So when you go in, go all the way to the back to the right, back by the bathrooms, they have a community room there. And there'll be me with your Native Food for Life bags and measuring cups. And then if you signed up for the Veg Michigan goodie bag, they'll be there at the same time from 4 to 5 next Tuesday. So with that, having an event next Tuesday, I'm hoping we can keep you going through another week. And then, you know, with the foods and the information you'll get next Tuesday, get the your goals through the holidays and keep these, you know, your goals up all the way through to the new year. Start your resolution that you're going to keep eating these foods, and you know, it's just going to benefit you. Where the person in the cooking class was with you, oh, in the in-person, yes. So I did have an in-person cooking class. So when I do those classes for Oriana, it's at Oriana West, and it's back in their state-of-the-art kitchen. You just wave your hand in front of the microwave and it opens for you. It has the most best everything. And they do not charge for using that room. So if you ever want to use it, just go to the Oriana website, you put in a request there, and you can use that for no charge. And then if you ever sign up for Oriana cooking class, that's where we meet. And I'll be doing another cooking class in February, and it's called Honoring Indigenous Foods. And what I'm really, really excited about is the dessert, and it's just called Cranberry Whip. So if you're interested in that, come take the class. Okay. We're at the end of the class. I want to thank you all for being part of this program. I'm hoping that with you and me together, and we plant these seeds and we spread the word, that it's the beginning of the end of diabetes in Indian country. And then, you know, that's like my goal for my son, is to him to think that, you know, only grandpas used to get diabetes and that kids don't get that anymore. So we got a ways to go, but we're working on it. Everybody that's here and has children and has family, and when you tell them you're doing this and they see the look of youthfulness in your face, I'm telling you, my husband and I, we get mistaken for young kids in their 20s all the time, and we'll be 50 in a couple years. So I really think it has a lot to do with, you know, vegan diet, exercising, low stress, loving life, and being happy. And it's been great being your leader for this course. And I want to thank you all for being part of the Native Food for Life online. And look forward to your email here just a moment. I'll send you guys the email. And thank you so much. All right. Any questions? Email me anytime, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday at Oriana West. You're very welcome. Miigwech, miigwech to all you guys. Y'all have a good week. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You guys have been great. All right, Mama P.